because normally conflicts in some of these institutions arise out of some of those small things. You bring new people in the institution, yet there are those who have the history of the institution and can serve the position that has been advertised out there. But I want to congratulate you. Can you update us about your current enrollment?
6,000 students.
6,000?
Yes.
How is your staffing capacity?
Staffing capacity, we are 33%.
33%, and you are very comfortable?
Chair, we are not comfortable, and we have been having engagements with relevant ministries. We are working with the Minister of Public Service and Minister of Finance, and we have been cleared to have some recruitment, particularly for our faculty of Applied Science and Technology in the coming financial year. So we're working towards improving our staffing structure establishment.
How has it been for the last previous years? Have we seen an increment, or it has been 33 constantly for the last 3 years?
We have moved from 24 to 33 currently.
From 24 to 33?
Yes.
Honorable colleagues, the reason as to why we put emphasis on staffing in universities is because it impacts on the quality of education that you do give. Not only universities, but also other institutions of government. But for universities, it's a little unique because you have the clients that you serve are very sensitive. Once you don't give out the best or in line with quality, it automatically affects the human resource of this country. So we are going to straight away go to matters of audit, and we are going to begin with 1.1 on outstanding receivables. Take us through that, 1.1.
The query here was that the review of a balance sheet indicated that there was a 2.2 billion in outstanding receivables, and this had an implication on our NTR and fees payment policy. And then the Auditor General recommended that we should ensure that students comply with the fees payment policy. And here we submitted our response that this delay is attributed to valid schedules and program timelines, especially for postgraduate students that do not align with the normal semester flow. And this misalignment led to delays in fees collection, as postgraduate students may not adhere to the same payment cycles, resulting in outstanding receivables. And to mitigate this and enhance revenue collection, management is instituting stronger enforcement mechanisms in conformity with the policy. And management also appreciated this query, and at that level, we have asked the Bursar's office to come up with a detailed analysis of what this 2.2 billion entails. And then the right recommendations will be taken into consideration to deal with this. I submit, Chair.
Actually, for us, we had thought that you had come with details of what these receivables were. So if you also, still say you are going to, you instructed the bursar to give you the details, then one wonders, what have you come for? What are you here for? Because really, if you are to respond to this query, you ought to have, first of all, appreciated what these receivables are and the measures that you've put in place to ensure that you mitigate this in the future. Because you had alluded to this, you've you've told us that it's because of the postgraduate students that don't align with the traditional semester flow. So this, to me, the assumption is that all the areas of 2.2 are directly attached to the postgraduate students. Is that true?
Chair, it has been a long process, and a detailed analysis of this already discovered this as one of the items But we also, in this very 23-24, have established that there are actually students who are affected by the COVID and therefore abandoned course. We have had also in that same report issues of
Accounting officer, you are not being genuine. What would have happened when the auditor raised this query? You would have practically looked at what exactly happened. Because for me, according to what the response that you are giving, it seems as if you are just cherry picking the answers here and there. We are not so sure of the exact problem. So, colleagues from this side, the reason as to why you come for audit, I mean to this accountability committee for hours, purely we want to see how efficiently this is of accountability relate to real facts, what actually happens on ground. It's not a matter of, responding for the sake of giving an answer. So you ought to have brought out all the reasons as to why you had these receivables. Practically, if there were delays, if there were issues of COVID, those are the very ones that you would have listed under here. And the reason as to why you come for such committees is to ensure that we continuously improve to avoid such occurrences in the next financial year. Because at the end of the day, for you not to receive 2.2 billion automatically affects the performance of the institution. This is money that you ought to have budgeted for, and once it doesn't come in and in time, automatically you'll find yourself, you'll find yourself constrained in one way or the other. Honorable colleagues. Yes, Honorable Mabini.
Yeah, it is true that according to their response, they're saying this misalignment led to delays in fees collection as postgraduate students may not adhere to the same payment cycles, resulting in outstanding receivable from the previous period. I thought some of these programs are structured in a way that at one point they feed into. Like now you are indicating that now you are in a holiday, right? But I also have a student I'm sponsoring. I've not seen him coming home. I don't know whether
he's still on the way.
He's staying with me, but I've not seen him, and he has not communicated, so I'm a bit worried. Some of these younger boys, they have got issues there, but that's for another. So I thought all this program fit into, at one point, they have a convergence point. Can you try to explain to us? Either one pays at the beginning, the end, whether some are already there, but there must be a convergence point.
Yes, Honorable Member, through your chair. They have the converging point, but the case with postgraduate students is that they usually do their first 3 semesters of classwork and then go into research. And some of them delay on their research component of the study. And so you will again get to them when they are submitting their proposals or thesis, and usually there's a big time lag that they take. And so it goes beyond the normal study program. But beyond the postgraduate, we also discovered in our analysis that...
Accounting officer, before you get there,
yes.
What was your planned NTR for the year under review? Your non-tax revenue for that year?
Yes, our planned tax revenue for that year was 14 billion, Chair.
Was 14 billion. What was the basis?
The basis is the student enrollment and the fees revenue expected from the enrollment.
The reason as to why I posed such a question is the auditor audits you according to the standards that you've set for yourself. It is you that sets the NTR that you intend to collect. You clearly showed 14 billion. Well knowing how your postgraduate and your programs, how they flow, you give yourself a target that in the course of that year, I will collect this money. So really it becomes unfair and unrealistic on your part to assert that the 2.2 billion was because of these postgraduate students. For you to set that, you ought to be knowing how the programs do flow. So when you set targets unfairly, At the end of the day, it affects you because you know when to recruit and when a certain batch will pay. I don't know, is the NTR fixed by the Ministry of Finance or it is you who proposes the NTR depending on your collections? Who sets the target for the NTR?
Chair, we set the targets based on our projections.
Good. So what is the basis for your prediction? It's because of how you set your prediction depending on how your programs flow. So the only advice I can have on your part that once, during the time of determining the NTR, be realistic and fair on how the university program flows and how you intend to bring in income. NTR is your income. It's you to determine when you receive it. So when you shoot it up and when you are aware that you won't realize it, you are bringing unnecessary queries. And at the end of the day, you will also unrealistically budget because it is assumed that you will get this money. You will also budget for it.
NTR.
Yes, Honorable Asman.
I sort of come in late. I was supplicating. Maybe I missed out on the introductions, but Chair, the issue you raise is a planning issue. I would be interested in getting some response on your issue from the university planner. And as far as this issue is concerned, because this would squarely fall into his or her docket. And when you ask the basis for their projection, the university planner should be able to guide and avail information as to how they come up with unrealistic projections that eventually they fail to realize and then raise audit issues.
Yes, Madam Chair, just from where you came from, NTR 24, you still have 15 billion, and now when you go back to page 26, which is not 19 and not 20, your figures are not adding up. You have foreign exchange gains of 344, and then you have transfer to the treasury of 14,392, which is not collaborating. So as you harmonize that through the planner, as you answer the question raised by Honorable Asman, you also be teasing out the harmonization of your NTR and what exactly your NTR was. Thank you.
Yes, Accounting Officer. Who is your planner?
Chair, I pass it on to the planner, Madam Robin.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair and members. As the accounting tiara is the students' fees are contributing over 90%. The other resource is mainly from some few rentals, and indeed, as you've said, the students' fees, as the accounting officer has said, the students' fees are projected based on the projected enrollment, and under the year being assessed, we had a challenge of COVID. There's a year where we did not have first years to enroll, senior six to enroll. So somehow our student numbers were affected. But on the side of collection, the collection is based on students who are billed. That is now not necessarily planning, but the execution bit.
So these payables are as old as 2019, 2020, 2021?
Yes, the Chair,
has it been accruing?
The accountants will help me on that, but of course the student enrollment affects a period of years. So from 2020, when we didn't have senior six, those students are now in third year. So the numbers dropped gradually in 1 year. But that per se is on enrollment. However, on the collection, that is based on students who have been enrolled, not necessarily on the planning side. I hope I'm clear on that.
I don't know whether you can get them, but you can try. What were the receivables for the year 2020 to 23? Those were in 23, 24? 2022, 23? can get them from the financials. Our technical team,
That's sir. Financial.
But Madam Chair has the check again on page 24, not 7.
24 not 7.
15,818,000,000. The receivables.
Now we are going to 1.2 outstanding payables for the financial year. Under review, you had outstanding domestic arrears of 6.1 billion payable to National Enterprise Corporation, NEC. What had NEC done for you?
Chair, NEC had implemented the contract for construction of our Faculty of Computing and Informatics building at a cost of about 8.4 billion. And they had done this project to about 95% completion. And at the time we were unable to pay the outstanding, and basically for non-release of our development budget for about 2 financial years. But I want to report that Ministry of Finance was engaged on the same matter, and some funds on development financing were released, and we were able to settle this outstanding from about 6.1 to now 1.1 billion, which we hope to complete in the next financial year. Chair, members.
Can you give details about this project? When did it start? Procurement, can you give us the details about this project? You said it is construction of?
The Faculty of Computing and Informatics block. And its construction started in 2018.
Construction started in 2018?
Yes.
And the contract was to run for how many years, and date was?
It was in 2 phases, from 2018 for first phase to 20. Yes, let me consult. So the first phase was 2018 to 2022, then phase 2.
2018 to 2022?
Yeah, phase 2.
Those are close to 4 years? 18, 19, 20, 21, 25 years. Is that true? Now, let me guide you on some of these queries. Whenever any subject comes to, any item becomes a matter of audit, as you come to such committees, make sure that you equip yourself with brief facts about such a project. Because, once something becomes a payable, that means, number one, it's a cost to government. We were supposed to have this project completed and to benefit a certain group. Number two, you deprive the NEC an opportunity to receive its money in time. When somebody works, they must be paid. I don't know whether NEC is an NGO. Is NEC an NGO that offers a service and then goes to rest, and you pay as to when and how you want? So having a payable anywhere is abnormal to the person who gave you a service. So once you come to such a committee, at least have briefs of the project name, when did it start, when did it end, because the abnormality in this is somebody gave you a service and they have not been paid. Whether you have now received the money to pay them, to us this currently it matters somehow, but the reason we want to get is why didn't you pay within that specified period of time? We'd like to know by then what was your budget. If it was a multi-year project, how had you planned to pay? Because if you say finance did not give us money for capital development, then one would ask what happened to finance? Because this is a commitment to somebody. Just assume if NEC had borrowed money in the bank, does this still make business sense? You are lucky that NEC is a government entity. If it was a private sector, do you know the frustration you ought to have put, the frustration you would have put to somebody's business? So you're going to give us the details of this contract. These matters must come out. Whether NEC or what, once you have a planned project, it must be completed in time. Otherwise, if you, this is 2018 to date, have you started using the building? Are you using it now?
Chair, we plan to start using it in the first semester, which starts in August.
When had you planned to start using it? What was your plan?
Chair, I have received some project details here, and the phase which NEC undertook commenced on the 10th of January 2022, and the completion date...
a moment. What happened in 2018?
Chair, this building was done in 2 phases, and the first
by the same
different contractors.
Then you don't start from 2022. Start from 2018. Who started the project in 2018?
So 2018, the first phase was done by Steam Investments Limited, and the completion time for phase 1 was 2021. And so phase 2 commenced on the 10th of January.
Wait, let's go slow. Steam Investment in 2018 for phase 1, yeah, at a contract value of...
How much was that money?
For Steam it was 3.5 billion. So Steam completes phase 1 and was fully paid, and the contract ended in time. Then for phase 2?
Phase 2 commenced with NEC January 2022, and the completion date was January 2023.
That's a period of 1 year?
Yes.
At a contract value of
8,397,814,309 shillings.
So, and when did you pay them the 7.2?
The 7.2 is a cumulative figure which has been paid between the 1 year execution implementation period.
Now, Councillor, so what you're going to do is you are going to submit the details of this project. The details of this project, number 1, we shall have to, you need to give us your plan. What had you planned to do and for what period of time? What took place in phase 1? What took place in phase 2? And what is the total contract, what is the total contract sum for the whole activity? How much did you spend on it? Chair. Yes, Honorable. She comes in. We want to ascertain the total contract value of the project, and also to know, because you are telling us you are at 95%, to date what is missing and what do you intend to do? Because you said you intend to occupy it when? Next semester?
Next semester.
When is that, August?
August 9.
Okay. So are there works ongoing for you to complete the 5% that is remaining? What is remaining?
No, Chair, the building was completed and handed over, and it's under the defects liability period now.
So completion is 100%?
Yes.
To date?
To date.
Honorable Nekesa?
Thank you, Chair. And through you, Chair, to our esteemed team from MAST. The occupation of the building notwithstanding, I would like to know whether we are running the entity as business. Do you intend ever to make some business sense, to have a lens in your business to do with the university? In the first scenario, Chair, they said that they have they get the NTR from master students who don't even pay in time, and looks like the litigation is so fair they can pay when they want, or they don't even come back at all, and that goes the next time you take up projects in getting the students who are supposed to pay to occupy them to make more money. You don't seem to be faster enough at that to get money to pay the contractor at the same time to get it occupied, because it's taken about 5 years. Do you have a perspective of business making for a better NTR for you, or it's just a normal thing that what comes, what doesn't come, comes? I'd like to hear that from you, accounting officer and the team here. Thank you.
Yes, accounting officer.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable member, we actually have that in perspective, but for the period between 2020 and 2023, we had challenges getting development funding from the ministry, and as an entity, we purely rely on the Ministry of Finance to give us funding for these projects. But that notwithstanding, this has changed in the last 2 financial years. We have received our development funding. We have been able to come good on our obligations, and we hope to do much better moving forward.
Thank you, but you've taken note of what to show that we improve in how systems work. You award a contract that means business to somebody, but you also have an intention of serving a certain community. Once a building is not finished, completed in time, automatically it affects the university because you have a plan. So we shall need that submission on Monday. Will you be ready by Monday?
Sure, we shall be ready.